I'm Michelle English. Today I will be talking about the highly controversial issue of abortion. Abortion is one of the most controversial issues that society faces today. The Roe v. Wade decision made abortion legal to mothers. This gives them the option on whether or not they want to kill a child. Although abortion is a medical issue, it's not just a medical issue. It is also a political and an ethical one. Abortion is the killing of the child, and thus it should be called murder. Although it's more economically efficient to abort an unwanted child, it is not the only option. There are other options such as having the child or giving it up for adoption. Abortion is morally wrong. Taking sides explains that pro-life advocates see abortion as the wanted slaughter of an innocent child. Scientists have detected brainwaves in fetuses, and a lot of people don't know that. These women who choose to have abortion are murdering their own children. There are 1.3 abortions performed in the United States every year. That is 1.3 million women who decide to murder a child with virtually no consequences. That is 1 in 3 children conceived within the United States every year. Being sexually active does carry consequences, and many people do not take the steps to protect themselves from these consequences and then create a child and then decide that they do not want this child. Dr. Bernard Nathanson says, "Physiology makes it undeniably evident that life begins at conception and requires all the protections and safeguards that we all enjoy." That comes from Epigee Pregnancy Resource. Dr. Nathanson was once a pro-choice advocate. He performed 75,000 abortions and then changed his mind. Once he found out that what he was doing and the choices these women are making were morally wrong. It actually took Dr. Nathanson looking at a ultrasound to see that the child was actually pulling away from the vacuum, like it was scared. These children, although they are protected by the womb, they do know what's going on. Once the egg is fertilized, the embryo is ready to grow. Therefore, it's not just a cell, but is actual human being. The moment the egg and the sperm are united, new life is created, and that new life should have the ability to be brought into this world. That way, their life isn't over before it can actually begin on its own. There are a few different ways abortions are performed. There is the standard up to the first trimester abortion, where they take a vacuum aspiration and it basically tears the child apart inside the uterus and puts it into a little jar, and then it is thrown away. A powerful suction tube is inserted through the cervix, and that can be done for the first 6 to 9 weeks of pregnancy. A hysterectomy can be conducted between 24 and 38 weeks of the pregnancy. The doctor would deliver. There's also a way where the doctor delivers a child like a normal child would be born, but they would turn the child and stick scissors into the nape of the child's neck, open the scissors, take a vacuum aspirator, suck the brain out, and sadly, that's where the life ends. If the child is still born living, all they can really say is it's a difficult situation. There's another way where it's actually called a candy apple baby, is the term that a lot of people use for it. They take a needle, stick a saline solution into the umbilical fluid, and it burns the child alive until it is delivered about 48 hours later. Dr. Kanwaljit Anand testified in a New York trial that all fetuses beyond 20 weeks of gestational age will experience severe pain during abortion procedures. Mind you that most states in the United States do not allow abortions past the first trimester, but not all states. There are still some, and there's no proof that they can't feel anything beforehand. It is stated at the Planned Parenthood Association v. Ashcroft trial that they didn't know that babies could feel pain while still in the womb. There has been studies found that the stress levels of children while they are being aborted severely spike, and that is also, it's similar to an adult undergoing similar surgical procedures. It was also testified that sometimes a child would still be alive during a partial birth abortion, like I had spoken about earlier, and all they had to say about it was, it's a difficult situation. Now, understanding human rights and principles states that a state may interfere with citizens' rights or regulate their freedoms to act for specific legitimate aims, but if it does so, it must be done so by law, and a norm cannot be classified as a law unless it is accessible and also foreseeable to a reasonable degree in the application of the consequences. Why can't abortions be stopped? It should be able to regulate those freedoms if it stops somebody from being murdered. This is my beautiful little boy. This is when he was about 9 months old. If you've seen my other videos, you have seen him in all of them. He tends to interrupt them. He's beautiful. My husband and I, we weren't married when we got pregnant. I was still in high school when I got pregnant. I was a teenager when I got pregnant and when I had my son. And things aren't easy, but my son has a life. He has parents. He has grandparents. He can run. He can walk. He's the best thing that happened to us ever. And it makes me so upset to think that somebody would want to take that away from someone. So not only are these women murdering a child by having an abortion, but they are also putting themselves at high risk. The women may contract a uterine infection, hemorrhage, or a uterine perforation. If an infection does occur after an abortion, it may permanently damage the uterus or the woman's fallopian tubes. Pelvic inflammatory disease, which is all too common after abortions, is extremely dangerous. Within a 5-year time span, 126 women died from complications after an abortion. And that also comes from the Epigee Pregnancy Resource. Many women become infertile after abortions. If a woman is not ready to care for a child or does not have the type of support that they need to carry a child, there are other options. There are so many places that people that are infertile can't have these kids, and they wish they could. They wish that they had a child to hold and a child to love on, and they just can't do it themselves. There's so many parents that want the opportunity to take care of a child. And if you can't do it, then there are people that can, or there are people that are willing to help you. Adoption would benefit the largest amount of people. The women carrying these children, instead of aborting them, they should be able to give up 9 months of their life so that a child can live a full lifetime. Abortion is feticide. Abortion is maybe you know somebody that didn't think they can do it, or are trying to decide if they should have a child or should put it up for adoption or should go through an abortion. And this is why I'm trying to reach out to people, is that there are so many other options, and many people don't know, like, that these children that are in the womb can feel pain. there are other options. There are people willing to help. You just have to talk to someone. So there's no other way to look at it except for abortion is murder. It's just one person who is irresponsible that wants an excuse. And if they can just put themselves aside and think of another human being, it would be the most rewarding thing to them. I hope I've helped you out. I hope you have learned something from my speech. And I hope you have a good night. Thank you.